Hello, today I want to tell you a story of my fat loss journey at the very beginning of my fitness journey. So my very first step in anything towards getting better and self-improvement. At the moment I didn't even know about the concept of self-improvement. I haven't watched any single video of this kind. So it was getting experience from nothing. But it actually worked. Of course I've made some mistakes. But if you are right now as I was those over 2 years ago, so you're a pretty fat kid, like maybe you're even not extraordinary fat, but you feel that you could drop some weight, this video is for you. So as I've said, I used to be a fat kid. It wasn't like disturbing all the time, I didn't look extremely puffy. Especially as I'm very tall, I always was very tall, so it wasn't so visually noticeable, and it was hard to feel the difference of being fat or not, because I was slightly or more slightly overweight for over 10 years, going past it, as I was up until I was a little child. I was overweight for a pretty long time. But the moment came to change. And it all started with me having a conversation with my friends back in 2022 in a high school cafeteria, when we just sat and talked. Important disclaimer, all of them were going to the gym for some time, all of them were pretty fit. I wasn't. But it was an amazing moment because I could basically ask the dumbest question of how food works, and they would know, and they would explain it to me. Looking back to the day, that was a very wholesome day and a very important one on my journey. The conversation kind of ended up with one of my friends showing me an app called Fitatu. It's a less known version of MyFitnessPal. So basically an app where you can track your macros and your calories intake throughout the day by inputting every single meal you eat through the day. I got obsessed over it. Like, I thought that it's my key to getting better. And that was the very first moment in my life I knew that I have to be better. And it worked for me. Because I started inputting all of those foods I was eating. The app calculated me some basic macro limits and calorie limits. I didn't know whether or not they were good. I started obsessing over those numbers, started looking up different calorie deficit calculators online, stumbled upon normal cut where you just set the base calories. I've stumbled upon the kind of diet where you have more calories for 2 days. I stumbled upon a diet 2 days in a week. Stumbled upon a kind of diet where you eat more on training days. So when you go to the gym or do any workout, you eat more. The day you don't, you eat less. And all over the place, I didn't know what to do. Change it from this to this to this. But I didn't know about some things about building muscle. So all I knew that if I eat less, I lose fat. So I went down with calories strongly. I was eating way lower than my maintenance. Right now my maintenance is I don't know, 2,900, 800, something like that. At the moment it was similar because now I weigh similar as I did that time. Of course now the weight is more in muscles than it was mostly fat. And it worked for me. It actually worked for me because as with the maintenance of what I said, I ate sometimes 2,000 calories, sometimes 2,200, sometimes below 2,000. It was extreme. Looking back to the day, it was kind of too extreme for it to be normal, but it worked. It will not work for everyone though, because I have to tell you about some details about creating muscle, about maintaining all of whether you're fats or muscles, but later in the video, because we have to start with the basics. So, the maintenance. That's the level of the energy you need to bring to your body by eating to basically stay the same. So, every amount of energy your brain takes for thinking, because if you don't know, it takes the most in your body, but also every move you do, every gesticulation I do during this video, it takes a little bit of energy. And summing it up, the number is like set for every day. It's very similar. You don't split maintenance throughout the days, you just assume the one number. And you can basically find tens of online calculators or some formulas to count it. After like those 2 years, I can tell you the easiest way to calculate it. This is actually taken from the book that my teacher back in high school borrowed me. He was a very wholesome one, and I'm grateful for what he did for me. But the formula is that you take your body weight and multiply it by somewhere between 30 to 35 calories. Like it's not a set value that you have to pick 32 and you can go, because as I've told you, it varies a little bit, so the maintenance can vary a little bit, and 50 calories this way or that way will change nothing in your body. So at first you should calculate your maintenance. You can basically do it right now, pause the video, input your body weight, multiply it by, I don't know, 34 or 32, pick anything. Of course, the lower number you pick here, the less you will eat, so the more weight you will drop. But don't cut this time. Don't cut like, okay, so I multiplied by 26, so I will drop more weight. We'll calculate that in a moment, because after you have the maintenance, now we go to reduction. Sounds more professional than losing weight, and it will help you to change your self-image about yourself and about your weight loss journey. You will sound more professional to yourself. If you tell it to others, you will sound more professional and more dedicated. So from now on, you can call it being on a reduction or being on a cut. So what you do is you take your maintenance and reduce the number by, I don't know, 5, 10, 15%, around a couple hundred calories. So for me, as I said, the weight of my body was 93.5 kilos. I multiplied it by 31, which gave me around 2,900 calories. So the step one was to calculate the maintenance. Second phase is to pick a number, like, I don't know, 200 calories, 300 calories, 400 calories. It depends on what you weigh right now, because if you are pretty fat but also like short, so you don't weigh that much, you shouldn't cut like 500 calories like all the place. If you want to go the perfect cut way, like maybe not the perfect but the proper cut way, because I have to tell that on that moment I did it more extreme, because I had nothing to lose. Like, imagine what would happen in your body if you ate way below your maintenance, so way below the amount of energy that your body needs to operate. Of course, the brain will take what it needs. It's the most important part of our body. But then you wouldn't have enough like energy to maintain your muscles, so your muscles would decrease. That's why when you go to the gym, you don't cut 1,000 calories every day, because you'd lose what you have worked for. But on that moment, I didn't have any muscle. So what I could do, I could go a pretty extreme cut, which helped me to drop 7 kilograms in 6 weeks. Yeah, after 6 weeks from 93.5 I went to 86.5 kilos. And I really stopped looking fat. I wasn't like skinny, I wasn't shredded yet, but I looked better. So if you already have some muscle, you do any sport, you play football, anything like that, in school, by yourself, if you build anything right now, don't go on a strict reduction because you have something to lose. If you haven't, you may consider, but also you have to take care of yourself because if you eat less, it will literally hurt you. You will have no energy throughout the day. You may lose all your muscle, like to the way you have troubles moving. Like you won't become a wheelchair person in a moment, but it may cause some problems. So take care of yourself. And basically, if you want to be safe, cut out from 5 to 15% of your maintenance and eat this amount of calories. So now we have to talk about something more complex kind of than calories because it's not that every food is the same. Now we can talk about macronutrients. So there are basically three things that build your food. Those are carbohydrates, which give you 4 calories per 1 gram, and it's basically any sugars, grains, bread, all of those stuff. You have protein, which is found in meat, in eggs, in cheese. That's what helps you build muscle and also gives you 4 calories per gram. And fat, I don't think I have to explain. You know how a fat feels as you eat. This one gives you 9 calories per gram. So it's like more filling. You can, like, the common misconception where you think, you know that you're fat. So what you think is that you should cut on fats. So your body doesn't store more fat. But it's a mistake because it's not exactly that the body works that if you eat fat, it can basically store. Fat gives you a lot of energy, as we said. And most of, not most of, but some of the fats are really healthy for you because it's also not big. The food is not about only carbohydrates, protein, and fat because you can compare ice cream to potatoes. Both give you carbohydrates, but do you think they will be the same efficiency for you, the same health benefits? Eating 100 carbohydrates in ice cream and 100 carbs in potatoes? Of course not. So there's more to it, but at the very beginning you should focus on setting some lines, like those apps will really help you finding what you should eat. But as I've said, don't cut on fat completely. Don't reduce fat to get like skinnier, because when you reduce fat, you are funneled into way more hurtful thing in your food, which is sugar. Sugar is basically very harmful for you. So the simplest form of carbohydrate, because if you eat potatoes, you eat carbohydrate, but they have barely any sugar. Like they don't have this harmful white sugar you could put in your tea. You find in every candy, every chocolate, anything you eat of this kind. And of course, you can't, like, maybe you will, but I don't believe it. I mean, wrong words. I would like you to do it, but you'll probably fail to cut all of the sugar at one time. But don't give up and just slightly decrease the amount of sugar you eat. If you love sweets and all of this stuff, basically go from eating a pack of cookies a day. That's what I did. I used to literally if I had a pack of cookies, I would eat it in one go. I decided that I have to change, and I started like eating this pack of cookies for 3 days. So 1/3 today, 1/3 tomorrow, 1/3 the another day. The basic split of this thing was really helpful because basically I lowered my sugar intake by 66%. and I still had sugar. It was still tasty. I still ate what I wanted, but it was really helpful to decrease the amount. So don't cut on fats if you want to get skinnier, because it will funnel you to something that works even worse for your body. I won't go into details, it's a lot of scientific stuff, but it's how it works basically, that the fat in your body doesn't come from eating fat in your food. It's more in depth to that. Trust me that sugar is wrong. But as I've said, you probably won't decrease the amount to zero within a day or a week, so just decrease it gradually. One good advice I can give you about the weight loss journey is to tell the people that care about you, that give a fuck about you, that you are going on a weight loss journey, that you are on a reduction, that you are on a cut. Tell your parents. Tell your parents, ask them for a slight help, so maybe they will prepare like smaller portions of dinner for you. Basic thing. They will put a little less of food on your plate every day. Basic change, but will help you. Also, if you tell your friends, like if you have friends that really genuinely give a fuck about your life, just simply. If you tell them, one, they will root for you. That's what I experienced. I've talked to my friends about, they showed me this app. Like, if I haven't talked to my friends that, yeah, maybe I should lose weight, because I thought about it before they showed me this app. I thought that I should get skinnier probably. I told them about it. They learned me. They teach what they knew, like basic knowledge. They showed me a tool to get skinnier. If you have people who care about you, they will help you. And if you have a friend who's also fat, you may be able to motivate him to change too. Because if you go on a weight loss journey, he may be hooked on and also start a weight loss journey. So yeah, that's basically my knowledge on how to quickly drop weight and some very basic knowledge on how the food works. So I hope that if you are a kid or a guy who wants to, or a girl that want to drop some weight, drop some fat, hope the story was valuable for you. Now go and make your way to a better future.